Have you ever wondered why your morning commuter flight uses a completely different aircraft than your evening return trip, even though both routes are identical? The answer might surprise you. It has almost nothing to do with passenger numbers. Behind every aircraft selection lies an intricate chess game involving union contracts, fuel calculations, competitive positioning, and strategic business decisions that most travelers never see. What if I told you that the plane currently taking you to your destination was unchosen by airline executives alone, but partially dictated by labor agreements written years ago? Welcome to the fascinating hidden world of airline fleet strategy, where every aircraft type tells a story about economics, innovation, and corporate strategy colliding in midair. The complexity behind the fleet. Airlines face an extraordinary balancing act when building their fleets. Consider United Airlines, which operates 28 different aircraft variants simultaneously. That's 28 separate maintenance programs, 28 different pilot certifications, and 28 unique operational procedures. Compare this to Southwest Airlines, which operates exclusively Boeing 737s, streamlining everything from crew training to spare parts inventory. Why would any airline choose such complexity? Each aircraft variant adds millions in operational costs and logistical headaches. Yet United's approach must generate enough value to justify this burden. The answer lies in matching precise aircraft capabilities to specific market demands, something impossible with a one-size-fits-all fleet. From tiny 50-seat regional jets serving Wyoming to massive wide-body aircraft crossing the Pacific, each plane type unlocks unique strategic opportunities that wouldn't exist otherwise. Union power in the scope clause. Here's where things get truly interesting and unexpected. Major airlines like United, Delta, and American don't actually operate their smallest regional aircraft themselves. Instead, regional carriers such as SkyWest, Envoy, and PSA fly these routes under contract, using aircraft painted in major airline colors. This arrangement exists largely because of something called the scope clause buried deep within pilot union contracts. Pilot unions wield enormous influence over fleet decisions through these clauses, which strictly limit how much flying can be outsourced to regional partners. Why does this matter? Regional airline captains earn between $130,000 and $235,000 annually, while mainline United captains can make between $300,000 to over $450,000 per year. That's potentially triple the compensation for essentially the same job. Unions naturally fight to protect these lucrative mainline positions by restricting regional operations, creating rigid constraints that force airlines to get creative with their fleet strategies. Engineering innovation within constraints. When union agreements blocked United from expanding premium seating on regional routes, the airline didn't surrender, they innovated. Working with Bombardier, United created the CRJ-550, technically a modified CRJ-700 but certified as its own distinct aircraft model. This engineering sleight of hand allowed United to comply with the 50-seat restriction in their union contract while dramatically improving passenger experience. The transformation was remarkable. United removed 20 seats from the original 70-seat configuration, then added 4 first-class seats, 4 premium economy seats, and spacious luggage lockers. But here's the kicker: union contracts also included maximum takeoff weight restrictions of 65,000 pounds for 50-seat jets. Since the CRJ-700 airframe was rated for 75,000 pounds, engineers installed software that artificially limits fuel capacity, preventing the aircraft from exceeding the weight threshold. This means the CRJ-550 deliberately carries less fuel than its tanks could physically hold, reducing range despite having identical fuel systems to its larger sibling. Market segmentation and aircraft assignment. Airlines don't randomly assign aircraft to routes. Every decision reflects deep understanding of passenger psychology and competitive dynamics. United's fleet deployment reveals a sophisticated market segmentation strategy that most travelers never notice. The cramped CRJ-200 and E-145 jets, sometimes called Satan's Chariot by frustrated passengers, serve small monopoly markets like Cheyenne, Lincoln, and Fort Dodge, where United faces zero competition. Meanwhile, the premium CRJ-550 operates in fiercely competitive mid-sized markets throughout the eastern United States, where Delta and American also battle for passengers. The enhanced cabin experience becomes a crucial competitive weapon when passengers have choices. Larger aircraft like the E-175 handle markets falling somewhere in between. This isn't about aircraft size alone. It's about matching passenger expectations to competitive realities. Business travelers flying Newark to Pittsburgh 8 times daily need frequency and premium amenities, not massive aircraft. United would rather operate 8 smaller jets than 2 larger ones, because business travelers value schedule flexibility above everything else and generate 3 times more profit per passenger than leisure travelers, despite representing a smaller total passenger count. The fuel efficiency revolution. Modern aircraft technology has transformed airline economics in ways that fundamentally reshape route networks. United's Boeing 737 MAX aircraft deliver 15 to 20% better fuel efficiency compared to previous generations, a seemingly modest improvement that becomes extraordinary on long flights. When fuel represents the single largest cost component on 7 to 10-hour journeys, this efficiency gain translates to tens of thousands of dollars saved per flight. United strategically deploys these efficient aircraft on transcontinental routes and has pioneered ultra-long, lower-demand services that older aircraft could unprofitably operate. Flights like 7-hour Anchorage to New York or New York to Funchal, Portugal suddenly become economically viable. The Airbus A321neo represents an even more dramatic leap forward with 200-seat capacity, essentially replacing United's aging Boeing 757-300 fleet, where the youngest aircraft was built in 2003. United executives believe American air traffic infrastructure will expand meaningfully in gate capacity, runway slots, or air traffic control capability anytime soon, especially around major hubs like Houston, New York, and Chicago. Their solution? Make aircraft larger, because every plane occupies just one gate, one landing slot, and one air traffic controller regardless of size. The counterintuitive widebody strategy. Prepare for something that defies conventional aviation wisdom. United operates massive widebody aircraft on short domestic routes. These fuel-thirsty giants, typically reserved for intercontinental flights, fly packed with passengers on routes like Denver to Chicago, Los Angeles to Washington, D.C., and countless trips to Hawaii, Las Vegas, and Cancun. The aircraft feature incredibly dense seating configurations with hundreds of economy seats and minimal premium cabins, making them United's highest capacity aircraft overall. Why would any airline use expensive, inefficient widebody jets for short domestic hops? The answer reveals sophisticated revenue optimization that prioritizes total profit over per-seat efficiency. Ultra-high demand on these hub-to-hub routes fills every seat regardless of comfort levels, and United frankly doesn't care about onboard experience because passengers will book anyway. The dense configuration mirrors narrow-body economy seating, but generates dramatically more total revenue through sheer capacity. This counterintuitive approach demonstrates how strategic fleet deployment transcends simple matching of aircraft to route distance. Sometimes the wrong aircraft makes perfect business sense when you understand the complete economic equation driving airline profitability. Conclusion and call to action. The aircraft carrying you isn't a random selection. It's the culmination of countless strategic decisions. Labor negotiations, engineering innovations, and competitive calculations orchestrated across years of planning. Fleet selection fundamentally defines an airline's identity and business model more than any other single factor. United's hybrid strategy connects small towns and international capitals simultaneously, completely different from Emirates' widebody-only long-haul focus or Ryanair's all-737 cost minimization approach. Every aircraft type determines where airlines can profitably operate, what they charge passengers, which amenities they offer, and ultimately, who they can serve. The fleet is the strategy, and the strategy is the fleet. Next time you board a flight, you'll see beyond the metal and seats to recognize the hidden architecture shaping modern aviation. If this deep dive into airline strategy fascinated you, join the Minecrafted community to explore more hidden systems shaping our world. Hit that subscribe button to discover mind-bending topics that reveal the logic behind everyday decisions. Like this video if it challenged your assumptions about air travel, and drop a comment below. Which aircraft do you prefer flying on? And have you noticed these strategic differences on your own journeys? Share your most memorable flight experience with our curious community, discovering the invisible forces that shape modern life.